Hi guys, it's Chloe and welcome back to my channel. But today is going to be part 2 of my hearing loss / aid journey, where I talk about how I got my new hearing aid, stuff of the like. And I'm super excited to get into this video, and on that note, we're going to get started. So if you haven't seen the first video yet, I highly recommend you do so. There will be a little eye in the corner. You can click that. It'll take you right there. So for starters, my first pair of hearing aids were a pair of Signia Insteel Primaxes, and they were in the canal, no Bluetooth. I did not like them because they were in the shop more than they were in my ears, because they don't do wax filters and I get a lot of wax buildup. So that was just a no-no. And with my second pair, let me show you guys. I'm going to pull them out right now. I have a pair of Resound Lynx Quattros. They look like little quotation marks or commas, whatever you want. And this little like wire on the outside is the Bluetooth. And I will mention with both of those hearing aids, they're battery operated. And they took the same batteries. So that made it a lot easier when I went to go switch over to the Resounds. And I went with Resound because I didn't like Signia, and that's the only other brand that my audiologist at the time worked with. So I did that. And ultimately, I ended up talking to my audiologist about like getting another pair of Resounds and in the canal hearing aids. But then as I started talking to her out loud about some of the things and asking questions, I'm like, I don't think I want to do that anymore. Because she said the two big head honcho brands that are like the best of the best is Phonak and Oticon. And the only issue with the Phonak hearing aids is the Phonak hearing aids have legitimate Bluetooth in it, kind of like an iPhone or a speaker has like legitimate Bluetooth in it, so it can connect to anything that also has Bluetooth. And because of that, the battery drains a lot quicker, so it wouldn't last a whole day. Now with Oticon and some of the other hearing aid brands out there, they have a specific kind of Bluetooth that can only work with made for iPhone or Android devices. Therefore, the battery lasts a lot longer. And that's something I was looking for, with longevity, and also because I am on government assistance and they don't cover hearing aid batteries, what would be more feasible for me? Would it be rechargeable or would it be battery operated? And she said that rechargeable is going to be a better solution money-wise, and rechargeable is different now, where it lasts for a whole day. Whereas my prior audiologist was like, no, it's not going to last the whole time. So if it dies on you during a work call or whatever, then you have to charge it, blah, blah, blah. And we've come a long way since then. So she said I wouldn't have to worry about that unless if I didn't charge them overnight like I was supposed to. So I'm like, okay, cool. Then she said that with what was then my current pair of hearing aids. So the thing is that this like clear loop on the outside, it's kind of hard to see, but that was the Bluetooth. And the thing is that if I were to get the same sized hearing aid with that Bluetooth, I would have to have it yeeted on the outside. And the thing is that if I were to, which they don't recommend sleeping in your hearing aids, but like if I was just resting my head or something, that would get smushed and it would get ruined. And she said I'd have to go for a bigger aid if I wanted the Bluetooth covered in the aid. Another thing is that with what was back then my current pair of hearing aids, they only had one microphone, not two. And she said I could definitely benefit from the 2 microphone system and not the one. And they couldn't put 2 in there because it was, pun intended, too small. And she said also a lot of people end up going with behind the ear hearing aids instead of the in the canals. Now, I have a friend, she has like, her ears are shaped a little bit differently because of a medical condition, and because of that she can only wear those type of hearing aids, which is fine. For me, I had the choice. So I ended up going with a pair of behind the ear hearing aids, and drum roll please, I ended up going with And I have 2 of these, by the way, but I'm keeping one of them in here so that I can hear myself talk. But a pair of Oticon Mini, let me grab, yeah. So a pair of Oticon Mini RITE hearing aids. So they only typically have skin colored as far as the behind the ear earpiece, but they had the sky blue and I'm like, I'm going to go for it. And then this is the little like wiring that goes into the dome. And then there's the dome with like the wax filter and then like a little air tube here. And there are 2 microphones. So there's one like on the back, I believe. And then there's another microphone somewhere else on this hearing aid. I can't remember where. I went with a pair of these. And again, whenever, as long as behind the earpiece still works, the only thing you need to replace is the domes. Now I'm going to talk about what comes in the box. I got 2 boxes essentially. So this one had the literal aids in it. And then I have another box that had the charger because I did go for rechargeable. But if you're not getting rechargeable, then this is the only box you get. But I got an instruction booklet. And my audiologist at the clinic, she went over everything, including pairing them to my iPhone. And then these are the wax filters, and I cannot use my old ones with this. I'm still keeping the old ones because in the event that one of my hearing aids breaks and I have to wear my old hearing aids, I have wax filters for them. But this is what they look like. And I'm going to pop one out, but I'm not going to replace them. I'm just going to show you what it looks like. But they look like kind of like a horseshoe type thing, as my audiologist would describe it. And then I got a toothbrush to be able to clean my aids with. And there's also a tool that I can do it with as well, but I have to find out where that is. And then I got a hearing aid case, but that houses my old hearing aids. And now I'm going to get into this box, which is rechargeable box. And again, if you're not going for rechargeable, then you can scrub over this, and I'll tell you, I'll pop it up somewhere where you need to scrub to if you want to skip this. Because if you're getting battery operated, then you're not going to get this box. But I did get a little instruction kit. And then I got the charger. So basically the way it works, if you've ever seen, not sponsored, but like Apple AirPods, it's like that. It's like an AirPod case. But you open it. And I'm going to take out one of my aids just to show you guys. I'm not going to do the other one because I needed to be able to hear myself talk. But basically, you got the charger. And here, you've got 2 ports. One's blue, one's red. And it's color-coded to your hearing aid. So red is right, blue is left. And then, what I'm going to do is pair the right with the right. And then I just shut the case. And typically, one sec, yeah, it'll flash green. And this case holds up to 3 charges. And there is a plug back here. They did give me something to charge it with, like a cord and whatnot. However, that's over there and it's like already set up and plugged in, and I don't want to take it out now. But they did give me one. Now, the only thing is that I do not know if you can plug this into an extension cord or if it has to be plugged into a literal outlet because of how much power it takes. I'm thinking you could get away with an extension cord, but I know with like my CPAP and my electric blanket, I have to plug it into a legitimate power source and not an extension cord because of how much power it takes. And another thing is that when you yeet them into the case, they automatically shut off. And they also, when you take them out and put them in your ear, they will automatically turn on. And you will hear a sound when they shut off and turn on. But that's only when you have the 8 in your ear. But again, when they go in here, they automatically shut off. And then behind here is the power button to be able to turn them off and on, and also adjust the volume. You can also do it through the app. They have an app as well. And then this is, again, the dome, the wax filter and stuff. And it's got like red on it. And red is for right and blue is for left. Which leads me to my next point. They do have an app. And with the app, what you can do is you can like increase or decrease the volume. And these hearing aids also come with something called Auracast, which isn't as widely out there yet. But basically with Auracast, what they're hoping to happen is you will be able to tune into any place that has Auracast with your hearing aids. So like for instance, if I'm at the airport and I need to listen as to when my flight's gonna board, then what I can do is I can tune in via Auracast and it'll go directly into my hearing aids. These are also made for iPhone hearing aids and they work with any Apple device. They also work with Android devices too, but I believe it's only the phones and the smartwatches at this point. I'm not sure about anything else because there are some phones out there that don't necessarily make like computers or anything like that. And there are other brands that do that don't have like the Android capability. So therefore, I don't know if those are included. But again, can be used with anything. And I use it with my iPhone. I can Bluetooth to my iPhone. I also bought a new MacBook and I did check as of this year. So it's 2026. But both the MacBook Pro, which is the most expensive computer out there as far as Apple computers, and then the Air, which is middle priced, and the Neo, which is their cheapest option, all of them can Bluetooth to a MacBook. All of those can Bluetooth to your hearing aids. They have that option. So the way hearing aids work is basically you pick what kind of aid you want, then you pick the features inside. And I found that I know in my prior pair, there were 4 categories. And basically, it's like a phone. So you have the flip phone, which can only do basic stuff. And then an iPhone, which can do practically anything. So same thing here. My last pair of hearing aids, I think had 4 categories that you could choose from, whereas with my new pair they only had 3. But I found that when I went with the best one, they've lasted me longer. Whereas with my first pair, I didn't go with the best package. Well, my parents didn't because they weren't sure if I was going to wear them, but I do. Therefore, they just didn't work out as well. And that's it. If you have any other comments or questions and whatnot, feel free to yeet them down in the comments below and maybe I'll do a Q&A. And I'll see you guys again next time, and bye.